You guys. Good morning, and good morning. Happy Wednesday to everyone that is tuning in, whether you are live or on the replay. We are back at it again with another edition of our daily manna. I told God this week I was going to try my best to be as consistent as I can be when it revolves around these daily manners. I actually enjoy them. And they're peaceful. And so, as always, as you guys are entering in, whether you are here now or catching this thing on the replay, go ahead and let us know what you're thankful for. First of all, tell God thank you and tell us what you're grateful for. Today, I will say that I'm grateful for God's faithfulness. That is the thing that I have been the most grateful about today. And honestly, just in general, just grateful that we serve a God who is as faithful as they come. And no matter how long we wait, no matter what it looks like he's a force to be reckoned with, and he is some kind of dependable, meaning we don't have to question, whether or not God is solid, because he is who he says he is. And so today I've been in a place of honestly just rest. I'm not even going to lie to y'all. Yesterday, I caught myself doing a lot of yard work, getting out and doing things myself. I told God after the other day where it just kind of dawned on me. I'm like, my neighbors think I'm some sort of sucker. Like, that's how I felt. Say, Lord, they thought that they were just gonna get over on me or whatever the case may be. And so I told God, I said, the stuff that I was paying them to do, I'm about to get out here and do it myself. And so yesterday I did just that, and I had an amazing time doing it. It was a good way to a good source of exercise rather. And so today I'm kind of paying for it, from the pouring and everything else, and even just the journey of faith. I feel like a lot of people don't talk enough about how faith sometimes will tire you out. Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on one second. Okay, there we go. I don't think that enough people talk about how faith a lot of times is tiring. It takes everything in you to stay in a place of faith, like every fiber of your being, mental fortitude, physical strength. It takes every part of you to stay in a place of faith. And a lot of times, like in whatever area it is that you're applying your faith to, you come out of that thing with a blessing, but you're also a lot of times extremely tired. Sometimes what's up, y'all? Sometimes when we go through the journey, we are extremely tired. And so today, God has been dealing with me. It's really happened since yesterday, but he's been dealing with me about faith and rest and how the two go hand in hand. I feel like there are moments in our journey where faith looks like action. It looks like moving. It looks like showing up, giving God something to work with. But I also believe that there are those moments in faith where faith looks like doing absolutely nothing. Last night rather, was one of those moments where after I had done yard work, I had gone to the gym and ran some more errands and came back home, and I was going to broadcast, and God began to just kind of like convict me. And he asked me my motive. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. He said, "What is your motive for, doing this? Like, why are you exhausting yourself to this degree?" And then he said, after he asked me that question, he said, "Because no matter what you do, if it's not time for something to happen, nothing's gonna happen. If it's not time for you to receive what you believe in me for, it don't matter how hard you overexhaust yourself, what you do." And so in that moment of God putting it to me like that, excuse me, my allergies this morning, I knew that what he was saying was, you need to rest. No matter if you do this, no matter if you don't, like, it's just not time. And if it's not time, it's just not time. And I always tell people this: how you wait is up to you. Like, when you realize that it's not time to receive something or not time to like move forward in an area, like how you wait is really up to you. I feel like I have been that immature believer that I be knowing that I knew it wasn't time for certain things. And even though I knew it wasn't time for certain things, I chose to overexhaust myself. I chose to open the door for anxiety. I chose to try to force God's hand. I pray that I'm making sense. Like, this was me. I tried to. And then it's like the more and more like I grew in Christ, the more and more like I grew in God. It's like, man, no. Like, sometimes faith is resting. Sometimes faith is doing absolutely nothing. And I feel like that was the hardest thing about faith, that the hardest thing about faith to grasp was that the world teaches us that like we are compensated for how hard we work. Give me some fire emojis in the comments. The world teaches us, and the blood of Jesus over these allergies. I'm gonna get this word out. Excuse me, y'all. The world teaches us that like you work hard, you work a certain amount of hours, you are compensated for that. Or, you put yourself through rigorous training and you're compensated for that. And a lot of times we take that same mindset into like our walk with God, where we feel like if I overexert myself, if I work as hard as I can, then it is going to produce my miracle quicker. It's going to produce my breakthrough quicker. And so a lot of times what happens is we end up going against the grain of God's timing, and we find ourselves anxious along the way. We find ourselves burnt out along the way, and it ain't that God burned us out. It was our own doing. It was our unreceptiveness to the fact that it just wasn't time when we thought it should have been time. And so yesterday, God was just kind of just getting on to me about like, hey, I know what your need is. I know where you are. I know exactly what your situation is, but you have no choice to wait. And when he put it to me like, how you wait is up to you, I knew that what God was saying is you can make this more stressful, or you can just receive and accept that like, I want you to do nothing. And I feel like, faith and rest is something that not a lot of people, not a lot of leaders teach about, how sometimes faith is you doing absolutely nothing. And I feel like in moments where faith looks like doing nothing and honestly resting in God, resting your mind, resting your body, sometimes I feel like the devil's agenda in those moments is to make us feel like, or to rage the storms around us to such a degree where we feel like even though God is telling me to rest, even though I may be physically depleted and I may know I need to rest, I feel like it's so much going on. You get what I'm saying? I feel like it is so much going on around me that I have no choice. Am I making sense? That I have no choice but to like force myself to show up, or force myself to do boom, 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 boom. And I feel like even in moments where God is saying move, like faith looks like action, the devil will try to get us into a place where we're not moving. He will try to get us into a place where, we are too afraid to take a leap, or whatever the case may be. And I feel like that's a whole gem for somebody. Whatever it is that God is calling you to do, whatever it is that faith looks like for you in this season, the temptation to do the opposite is going to be there. I feel like even for me last night, with me saying, okay, God, I need to rest. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Like, I sat down and I was no good. Like, I was, even today, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, I was trying to, like, okay, God, I gotta do this. I got all these bills that are due. And this is just me being transparent. And it's like, I know you saying rest, but here go another email for another bill that's now past due. Here go this, here go that. And I sat down out here, true story. Hey Rita, I sat down out here and I started to doze off. And you want to know what God told me? He said, that's how tired you are. He said, faith doesn't look like over-exhausting yourself until there's barely any of you left. I'm going to say that to somebody else. He said, yeah, I know that that an already, stressful situation is now becoming more stressful, and you like, God, look at all this other stuff that's doing all of this and all of trying to rest, but stuff just keeps happening. And sometimes it ain't even like financial. And he's like, I know that like you feel the temptation to like just show up or overexert yourself, because the world teaches us again that hard work equals more compensation. And he said, faith today looks like resting. It looks like you're resisting the urge to overperform, resisting the urge to overwork yourself, resisting the, what is that? Resisting, oh, that's a butterfly. Y'all, stuff. Yesterday I had a horsefly almost land on me. So that's what I thought it was. I was about to lose my marbles. I'm like, oh, not another one. But he said, like in moments like that where there's nothing that you can do. And I'm gonna say this. I feel like some of the moments that let us know that there's nothing else to be done is when our actions don't produce anything. And also when our, how can I say that, Lord? When our actions don't produce anything, that is a telltale sign that you've come to the end of what God wants you to do. I feel like also like physical fatigue, physical, mental fatigue, spiritual fatigue. You know, sometimes you just get to a point where you like, God, I just can't. Like I'm trying to, like my mind is saying yes, but my body is just, it's, these are all telltale signs that you have come to the end of your rope, and it may be time for you to say, okay, God, now that I've done all that I can do, let me enter into a state of rest. Because honestly, that is what faith is. Faith is two parts. There's the part of faith where we have to show up and give God something to work with. But then there's the second part of faith that says, God, we have to wait on God to respond to what we've done. And so I say all that to say, have you gotten to the point, or to ask the question, have you gotten to the point where faith looks like resting? Because today, like, I looked at my life and I looked at everything happening around me, and I realized, like, Lord, there's nothing that I can do. Faith in this moment looks like resting. And I rest because I trust that even though the situation looks to be spiraling, that at the right moment, God will do what needs to be done. Y'all hear that? Did y'all feel that peace? I'm going to say it again. I'm going to ask that question again. Like, have you entered into the into the space where faith for you now looks like waiting on God to respond to you? And if you're waiting on God to respond to what you've done, come on, rest is needed. Faith takes work. Faith takes everything out of us. Taking leaps of faith, you know, obeying God, following God. It is tiring. It's a tiring journey. So when you get to that point where you know, okay, I'm done. I can't do nothing else. No matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like God, I'm tapped out. Allow yourself to rest. And I'm gonna just say this. I feel like overworking yourself is a form of trauma. For me, I became a workaholic. I became a hustler. Whatever you want to say, I became it. Because I felt like, I struggled in my childhood financially. I went through this. I ain't got nobody to depend on. Like today, God said, like, yeah, you may have felt that way, like when you were growing up, like you don't have nobody to depend on. So you got to tough it out. You got to do what you got to do. And listen, you work now, sleep later. But you know what he told me? He says, but you have someone to depend on now. And I don't feel. I'm gonna say it again, because that used to be my mindset, even like in the confines of like trusting God. Like, I don't have nobody to depend on. It's just me. So yeah, I'm tired. Yeah, I'm hurting, but I'm gonna push through, because who else gonna do it? Who else gonna do it? Today, God told me, yeah, that was once your reality, but now you have me, and He don't fail. Like, I look at my life and it's like God really doesn't miss. I remember the days where, like, I'm sitting on my porch, where I was sitting on my mama porch, and the storm was storming. Life was lifing. And my faith wasn't producing anything. And no matter, God needed me to rest in Him. He needed me to know that I had done all that I could do, and to just wait on Him do to do what needed to be done. And I remember like sitting on her porch, like crying, like, feeling hopeless, feeling like God was not going to do it. And it's like, since then, time and time again, I've just seen God. He will sometimes let a situation get to the worst case scenario. And right when you think that it's about to break you, you want to know what God will do? God will come through. He don't fail. He absolutely does not fail. But today when He told me, like, yeah, you once used to didn't have nobody, but now you have me. You know me, and you know that that I don't miss. So rest. So to the person that needs to hear this, if you feel like, T, I'm where you are. I've entered into the space where all I can do is rest. All I can do is rest in Him. Do just that. And remind yourself that God doesn't miss and He doesn't fail. Like, I feel you, Picasso text. Like, I feel you. I promise y'all I feel y'all. But sometimes he will. Just so that we can see that he's not like people. And I'm going to say this. How can we see that God's not like people? I don't know about y'all, but I've had people fail me before. My entire life. Like, I have had people fail me before. I've had people not show up. I've had people say that they love me and, that I can count on them. And they didn't come through. They were not dependable. They did not keep their word. They did not help me. They did not, come to my rescue the same way that I came to theirs. I've had those disappointing moments. And it's like, even now, just talking about it, it's like sometimes when that's like all when like that's all like, or have known your entire life. And some of us, we on our faith walks and we still see people doing this to us. We still see people, being undependable. Well, that ain't a word. Not dependable. We still see people not keep their word. We still see people turn their backs on us. So sometimes, what God does? He says, I'm gonna let your situation get bad, right? I'm gonna let it get as bad as it is, so that I can come through and show you that I'm not there. I feel like my entire wilderness was God like proving to me that he wasn't like people. I say all of that to say, man, have some hope today. Like today I looked out, I said, God, I'm gonna rest and I'm gonna have some hope. And so if this word has blessed you, can you tell God thank you? If this word has blessed you, can you tell God thank you? If you have not yet hit that thumbs up button, do me a favor and smash that thumbs up button. If you have not yet subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscription button. We do these daily manners every single day. I believe that if you new here, that God placed you here for a very particular reason. And I pray that you guys do exactly what I'm doing. Like, it takes work to rest sometimes. Sometimes it takes overcoming your fears to rest. Sometimes we feel like if I rest, the storm gonna swallow me up. Today I said, God, I'm not gonna move being bound by the fear of if I stop moving or if I rest at this, I'm gonna trust that you won't let the storm swallow me. I'm gonna trust that when it's all said and done, I'm gonna have exactly what I need. Come on, when I need it, whatever door I need to be open, it's gonna open right on time. And so that is it. Listen, I appreciate you rocking with us, Picasso Tats. We will be looking forward to you coming back. God bless you. And so as always, if this has blessed you, tell them thank you. If you feel led to sow, the ways to sow, y'all already know. They are in the description of every single video. And I feel led to say this because I feel like everybody here is waiting for God to do a thing. I'm going to tell y'all what God is telling me now. The blessing will come in a way that you did not expect. Man, where are you stationed at, Picasso? Where are you from? I'm going to say it again. The blessing, the provision, whatever the case may be, it will come in a way that you didn't expect. It may even come from a source that you didn't expect. It may come in a timing. What part of Texas? In a timing that you didn't expect. I'm gonna have to follow you. Say it again. I don't know who that's for. I'm trying to get up off of here. I'm trying to get off of here. My God. San Antonio. Okay. Whatever blessing it is, whatever, it's going to come in a way that you didn't expect. It's going to come in a timing that you didn't expect. And it's going to come from a route that you did not expect. So trust him. Trust him. Moderators, y'all can post where people can sow one more time. If you are sowing, just label this your Have Some Hope seed. Whatever you choose to sow is whatever you choose to sow. If you don't choose to sow, you don't choose to sow. It's simple as that. I'm not going to go live on TikTok this morning. I know that I usually go live on TikTok once I'm live on YouTube, but today I'm going to rest and I'll be live a little bit later on this afternoon on TikTok. And so that is it, y'all. I love y'all. Ain't nobody told y'all today. I am rooting for y'all, man. I'm rooting for y'all. And so until next time, y'all.